Hey cardboard people, turning on the camera again. Wanted to do a quick video because I did get some new cardboard today, but not a CCG as usual, and not really a board game either, something in between. And I just want to make a quick video and explain this because I don't think there is, or there are many on YouTube explaining the concept of a living card game, sometimes called expandable card game, to my CCG brethren. So what this is, for those who have not come across this concept, it's been around for a few years and it's had varying degrees of success. But the idea of an LCG versus a CCG is essentially that you can buy these card games in fixed sets, meaning every time you buy a pack, whether it's a quote-unquote booster pack or a core set, you know exactly what you're going to get. And you'll get multiples of the card. You'll get a full play set of each card. So that every player in the game basically has full access to the entire card pool. There's no need for trading, obviously, because anyone can have any card they want by just buying the corresponding pack. And for the most part, there's then also no secondary market value, right? These cards don't go up and down in value. They aren't sold as singles because, again, anytime you want them, if you want the Captain America cards in this particular game or Hulk or whatever, you just go to the store and buy that particular pack. And again, the idea is that this is a way to make it, a more economical way to participate in a game that still has that magic-like feature of a changing meta game and changing decks and deck building. So this is one that's out right now called Marvel Champions by Fantasy Flight Games, and they're really the popularizers and the people who have done the most of these games. There's a whole history behind them, and there's a lot I could say about FFG and how well this format has done. But right now, this and another one called the Arkham Horror living card game are the two that are kind of plugging along and doing well. And what's keeping them going and what I think makes this model work for them is that these are cooperative games, believe it or not. So you and your friends would each build your own decks from your card pool, but then you're playing together as a team against the game itself, essentially, against villains in the game. So I'm just going to open this up and give you folks a sense of what it looks like, and kind of you'll see what I mean by everything that I've said about a fixed distribution. This itself is, I want to say, is the equivalent of a core set in Magic, but it's not really. There is still, in fact, before I crack this open, I'll just show you folks. There's one box that you buy. This is it right here. This big old monster. It's way bigger than it needs to be because it just brings, it's nothing but cards and some tokens inside. And if you buy this, it's like you have the whole core set 2020 or core set 2021 or whatever in Magic the Gathering. A play set of every single card. And that's all you need to ever play. But then every month they'll put out new heroes in this game. In other games, it'll be new scenarios that you face. And you can pick these up. They're usually about $15 each. And then every few months they do like a big expansion, which is, maybe more like $40. The original core set in this game is $60. And let's see what you get inside. You get a rule book, right? And usually these big expansions, much like in Magic the Gathering, where they're going to add new rules, new keywords, new abilities, change the meta up, right? So here's your explanation of all the new stuff. What do we have here? Just some cardboard. And as I warned you, they make these boxes bigger than they need to be because there's nothing just but the cards inside. The reason they do that is because these are generally in board game stores, right? And so they have to take up as much shelf space as the board games in order to, draw attention. At least that's the theory. And so in this case, here we have our Spider-Woman deck. It brings a deck for her, but also a lot of extra cards. Same for Hawkeye. And you can mix and match across decks. The decks are not set, right? You still build, but there'll be certain powerful cards in Captain America, for example, that I might want to switch into Black Widow or Hawkeye or Hulk or whoever else. And different themes, and the games can be quite as complex as any CCG in terms of how many combinations. And then this game operates with scenarios and villain cards that you face. So this is actually a rather boring one, huh? But let's see if there's anything to learn from cracking open one of the boosters here. So here's Black Widow. So again, in this Black Widow pack, if I were to open this here. Let's flip through some of these. you get, in this case, this is like your commander, right? And her secret identity. In this game, the way it works is that every hero has about 15 cards. If you build a Black Widow deck, you must include her 15 cards. But then you get a choice of... I could play this just like this out of the box. In this game, they set it up like that. But also, there's different colors, just like in Magic, different themes that I can use. So I can mix these cards in to this part of the deck. I can mix this into any other hero's decks within certain deck building rules. So every time that a new hero comes out or a new one of these sets, you're getting more and more options. So you can go back and reuse your old heroes, rebuild decks, upgrade them, try a different theme. The themes in this game, they're interesting. I think it's like red is aggression, blue is leadership, green is protection, and yellow is justice or like investigation. And that's kind of like, you can think of that as like Magic, right? Same thing. There's a color pie. There's different abilities and play modes. And then you have just basic generic cards that can go in any deck. What do I think of this game so far? It's pretty simple, pretty good, and it's getting, you know, more and more complexity as the game grows. That's how it goes with these LCGs. The art is okay. I would not rate it top notch, nor the design. I think they were going for something here almost toy-like, and a little bit more approachable maybe by a non-gamerly audience. But in the end, it's still, you know, because there's deck building and mixing and matching of so many cards, it's still something that I think is more applicable to us CCG players, and not so much to, again, your necessarily your family audience, you know, dad and mom trying to play with the kids. But you know, if they put a little elbow grease in, they could certainly figure that out. They could figure out a game like this. It's not that off the charts. But I would say the same about Magic. You know, you could play with your kids. Look, they give you an insert in these. I forgot. The insert lays out for you a little bit of the themes of the deck. You got some credits, of course, and in this case, a little fold-out poster too, if you want. So yeah, that's in a nutshell Marvel Champions and a different way to play card games. If you like deck building, tweaking with decks, you can play a scenario over and over many times. There's ways that you can change the difficulty setting. You know, if you figure out a way to beat it, you know, at 1, 2, or 3 players or whatever, you can then turn up the heat, and then your deck, you got to improve your deck. It's got to be that much more efficient or streamlined to hang in there with whatever you've added. Oh, these are nice. I mean, I don't mean to downplay them. The art is nice. It's just, I read actual comic books, and the standard of comic book art, I think, at this moment is higher than this. So I really wish they would have just brought over some of those artists. But actually, I will say that this right here is looking a little bit better than what was in the core set itself. Yeah. Here's the Hulk, guys. He demanded to be opened as well, huh? I just want to make sure I'm being very clear here for people who, again, are new to this. Here's my insert again. The idea is, imagine just if every time a new Magic set came out, you didn't have to buy boxes of boosters to chase the rares that you want or need, or the chase versions of the cards that you want or need. Or God forbid, try to complete a set. I mean, I don't know if anyone even does that with Magic these days. These look okay. The idea is that, imagine if you just went and when Kaldheim or Ixalan or whatever the set of the moment might be, whenever that comes out, you just went and paid a fixed price, and either you're paying 40 to 50 for like a whole set of a few hundred of all the cards, a full playset of all of them, or they might break it up into, you know, 3 or 4 months worth of mini $15 packs. Again, with the idea that it's not collectible. Everyone goes and gets the same thing, and it's an even playing field. It's a great idea. You know, again, it's not perfect. It's not the solution to everything, but it's an idea of a way to distribute a card game. So that's the basics of it, guys. If you didn't know what a living card game is. Now, I said this one is cooperative. You and your friend play against the system. But some of them historically have been just like Magic, competitive. So you're just building a deck and going up against, going into a tournament, facing off with people. Some of these games have lasted years and years. Like there was one called Netrunner, which was based on the original collectible Netrunner. That had a nice lifetime. There was one for Game of Thrones. You know, they all have different differences appeal to different types of gameplay, but it's all centered around the idea, that whole idea that comes from Magic the Gathering of I bring my 60 cards, you bring your 60 cards, and we're facing off, or we're cooperating against the system. So that's it, guys. Let me know what you think. If you weren't aware of what a living card game is, let me know if what I've explained was clear enough for you. Would you play a game like this? It sounds great. Maybe some other time I'll go into what some of the drawbacks are of this type of distribution system and why, even though this has been going on now for some time, why collectible card games still end up like ruling the roost. However, these are nice, especially if you want to get into a different game, but you're not looking to spend, hundreds of dollars on booster boxes every expansion. You could just spend $15 a month basically and always have that month's latest pack, and then some months you'll get something bigger, but you don't have to get them right away if you don't want to, especially with a co-op one like this, because it's not like you're going to a tournament to whack people over the head and have to have the latest. Anyway, I hope you guys found that interesting. Talk to you later.